There are three free change impact assessment templates and tools I will be walking you through today. The first one will be the Organizational Change Impact Assessment template, which is free in Excel, and you can download that right away. The second one is the basic free impact assessment template, also in Excel, and you can download that right away. And the third one is the all-in-one Change Impact Assessment Toolkit, which is an online version. After Steve Jobs retired from Apple and Tim Cook stepped in as CEO, Apple hired me as a change management consultant to establish a change management practice at Apple. The change impact assessment tools I am going to be providing to you today are the same type of resources that help me conduct highly effective change impact assessments and save 5 to 10 hours a week every time I had to do a change impact assessment. This first free change impact assessment template is comprehensive. It gives you a structured way to track both impact and the actions needed to address them. The next one we are going to be going over is the basic template. The reason why I am referencing the basic template now is that after I go over the comprehensive free CIA template, you might say this is too comprehensive for me, which is fine, in which case you can go with the basic free one. For the comprehensive one, you will notice we have multiple columns. The first group is what is changing and the impact. So for example, you could say there was a high level impact based on the human resources department moving from SAP to Oracle Cloud for the human resources management platform. So you can enter that here. And then here, you could say, within my organization, we have different levels. We have the parent level, which is human resources. Under human resources, we have human resources operations, we have human resources talent, we have human resources support, right? And you might say each one of these are impacted differently. Human resources talent is impacted with a mid-level impact. Human resources support is impacted with a low-level impact. So this comprehensive tool gives you the ability to look at different levels of impact within the same division or the same department. Now, something else that I've done when doing change management and impact assessment is, depending on the client, I might need to go into a level 3. So for example, I've done change management for Cisco, for Intel, for Gap, for a wide range of organizations. And sometimes what I see is within human resources operations, as an example, there might be New York City group that is being impacted, and that could be high level impact. And then there might be another group, California HR group, that is being impacted with a mid-level impact. The point here is this level 1, level 2, and level 3 gives you flexibility to go down multiple levels within your organization. You might say, for this particular project that I am doing, I don't need to go down to level 2 or level 3, which is fine, in which case you will have something like this. Severity of impact high, department, organization L1, human resources. And then you could say the next change is impacting marketing. It's a mid-level impact. You could say another mid-level impact is impacting IT. right? So you don't really need to go down to level 2 or level 3. You can just hide those if you don't need those. When you download this free Excel change impact assessment template, you will notice that we have provided you with sample data. So down here, you will see this tab. It says sample data. And then here is the OCM change assessment templates. Let me clear this out. That way, when you download this, you have this blank. Let us quickly take a look at the sample data. For our sample data, you see the first group here, which is what is changing and impact. That includes severity of impact and a summary of what is changing. And then with this next segment, you see we have entered organization level 1, 2, and 3. Once again, it is not mandatory that you have to go down to level 2 or level 3. And if you have any questions, it doesn't matter when you are watching this video. It could be 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 1 year from now. Just go ahead and enter your questions below when you are watching this video, and I will be more than happy to respond. Here are examples of tasks that you can enter to support your change impact assessment. Here are examples of when those tasks are due. So you can enter, this task is due 9/15/2026. This task is assigned to John Doe. What does John Doe have to do? John Doe has to go interview the lead human resources specialist to gather insights on any other impact that hasn't been identified. You can leave task panel, you can leave it blank. You don't have to populate any of this. You can just hide them. Okay, so once again, we are providing you with a free, comprehensive change impact assessment template, and you can tweak it to meet your needs. And that brings us to the second template, which is the free basic change impact assessment template. And that brings us to the second template, which is the free basic impact assessment template in Excel. The basic free change impact assessment template is designed for when you need to do a quick and straightforward change impact assessment without overcomplicating things. Let me walk you through the columns. The first column is where you enter the impacted group. This is where you enter the department, the division, the team, or the role that will be directly affected by the change. For example, human resources, finance. I just a few examples. And then the next column is the severity of impact column. Here you categorize the level of impact, such as, for example, high, mid, or this could have been low, and human resources could have been experiencing a mid-level impact. But here is where you enter the severity of impact. This helps you quickly prioritize where to focus your efforts. And then here, in order to put things in perspective, I normally enter the number of impacted individuals within that department. This was especially helpful for me when I was hired as a change management consultant to develop the best change management strategies for getting people to quickly adopt a change. Knowing the number of impacted individuals allowed me to pinpoint where to focus my effort. And when discussing with senior leadership and presenting my change management plans and approach, they were all very interested in knowing how many people within their department will be impacted. And so, general recommendation is if, for example, you have human resources, if 50 people within human resources are impacted, go ahead and enter that number here. What about finance? If you have 500 people, or let's say 450, go ahead and enter that number here. And human resources and finance are just examples. Your project might be impacting IT, production, product managers, right? It could be impacting supply chain. It could be impacting inventory. Now, I know normally inventory is within supply chain, but you might decide to break out inventory. That way you can focus on specific impact that is impacting inventory. And then here, you want to enter the number of people that will be impacted. And here I'm just going to enter a few examples. And then let's say IT has been impacted with a high level impact, production, low impact, product managers, mid impact. So you can already see, just looking at this very basic impact assessment, that inventory should be prioritized. What about finance? They have a lot of people, 450, but they have low level of impact. So when it comes to prioritization, the groups with a high level impact that also have the highest number of people, those are the ones that you should be prioritizing. The next column is the categorization or summarization column. This is really where you categorize and you provide a description of what is changing for each specific group. For example, you could say for human resources, they are moving from a manual process to an automated tool. And then finally, we have what would you like to deliver from a communications and training perspective? What would you need the change management team to do as part of engaging and supporting these impacted groups? And so there you have it, a very simple and basic template that you can download and start using right away. Here is the tab that has the sample data. Now, when you download this free change impact assessment template, the basic version, you will notice within the sample data that I have entered 2 roles. Both of them, though, I have human resources, human resources. Why did I do that? Just take a look deeply and you can immediately see why I actually have human resources twice. The biggest reason is because there are 2 key things that are changing for human resources. One of them is impacting 250 people, and that involves moving from a manual account provisioning process, which is currently handled by the IT department, to an automated tool. So awareness communications needs to be provided, briefing, roadshows, town hall sessions need to be provided. Now take a look at this one here. This impact is only impacting 55 people within human resources. IT will no longer handle setting up accounts for human resources. Accounts will now be generated from a data that the human resources group, which involves 55 people, what they will now be entering into a master file, an employee master file. And so, from a change management perspective, we need to train these 55 human resources specialists on the new process. That is why this has been entered twice. That's why you have human resources entered twice. But everything else here is different. And I did this to make a point. When you are doing your basic change impact assessment, you can have the same impacted group multiple times. That's fine. The goal is you take this document and tweak it as needed to do your change impact assessment by using this blank basic version to increase your understanding of how people are being impacted by a particular change. What's great about this template is it's simple and fast. You can capture essential impacts and immediately connect them to communications and training activities. That way, you don't just identify impact, you also plan how to address these impacts. And just a quick reminder, if you have any questions, enter them in the YouTube comment section below. For example, you might ask, hey Obi, how can I use artificial intelligence, AI, to make my change impact assessments faster or more detailed? I will always do my best to respond. And that brings us to the third template, which is the all-in-one change impact assessment toolkit. That is a web-based tool. Now we are in the online change impact assessment toolkit. And you can see here, for the purpose of today's demo, I have entered sample change impact assessment. So for example, there is a software adoption change. And you see here, I've entered the current state, and then here is the future state. So for the current state, manual processes are being used for task management. In the future, a new task management software will be used for task management. And then down here, you have different groups that are being impacted by the change, but you will notice I have entered the different levels of change impact. So for example, engineering has a high impact, human resources, mid-level impact, legal, high impact. I could have said mid-level impact or low-level impact. If legal had a low-level impact, I would have just entered low. But for our example, legal has a high-level impact. Marketing, similar thing, high-level impact. Product management, high-level impact. Research, high-level impact. And sales, mid-level impact. That's for that particular change. There is another change, task reporting, that is also impacting three groups: engineering, human resources, and legal. So that's basically how you use the online change impact assessment tool to track your changes. What if you want to enter a new change impact assessment? You just click here where it says add a new change, and then you name the change, you enter the current state, you enter the future state, you enter the groups, so you select the groups that will be impacted, you select the job roles, if your changes are impacting specific jobs. If not, you can leave it blank and all will be selected. Stakeholder type, you can also select those. And if there are just specific individuals that are impacted, so I've entered example names here. So none of these names you're looking at are real. These are just example names. There are some situations where your change impact assessment will not really just be impacting groups or job roles, but rather it might be impacting specific individuals. And that's one of the benefits of using a web-based change impact assessment tool, in that you can select the individuals that are impacted. And you can also select the change type. So is it a technology change? Is it a people impact, a change where job roles are changing? Is it a process change or a policy change or compliance change, right? You can just easily select the type of change. And then if the changes are impacting everyone the same, then, or if they're impacting groups differently, then you want to select this toggle. So as an example, let's say I select product management, sales, services, shipping, human resources, legal, engineering, okay? And the groups are being impacted differently, in which case I click on this toggle and then I specify. So for example, low impact for engineering, high impact for human resources, mid-level impact for legal, product management, mid-level impact sales, high-level impact services, mid-level shipping, low. And then I click on save. And then that information is captured. But the reason why it hasn't saved yet is because I need to name the change. So I will call this demo number 1. And I still need to enter, here is the as is. So as a lot of you know watching this video, the current states in change management and also project management, we also refer to the current state as the as is state. Okay. The future state is also, here's the to be. It's also called the to be state. Okay. And then I hit on save. And now you notice it has saved that information. Here's the as is, here's the to be, and then it includes the impacted groups and also the level of impact. So that's how easy it is to actually track this information. Here's one more thing. I normally get questions about, what about reporting? If I'm using the online tool, can I see reporting? And the answer is yes. So on the sidebar, you click on reports, and you can see overall across all your projects, the number of change impact per project per severity. You can see that information here. If you're doing a stakeholder impact assessment where you are looking at stakeholders, then you can also see that information here. And if you're doing a change readiness assessment, and we have multiple videos that we have published for doing a change readiness, stakeholder readiness, resistance management, you can watch all of those videos. But this all-in-one change management software provides you with all of these capabilities, including doing an effective change impact assessment. Now, I know some of you are asking, hey, Obi, where can we access all of these change impact assessment tools? Here is how. I would like everyone to follow along. Go ahead and click on the link below this video where it says free trial all-in-one change management software. Click on that link. It will bring you to this page. So just enter your first name, enter your last name, enter your email. In this case, here's the email. And then phone number for two-factor authentication, but it's not mandatory. Enter your company name. You could also enter just your last name or your first name, or just company name. Well, in this case, I'm going to put Iridium Group. Project first name. This helps when creating your project and doing your change impact assessment. So you can just say first project. A lot of people do that. And then click on I am not a robot. Obviously, we know you are not. And then click on start my free trial. And it's a 14-day trial. So you can poke around, you can download the free templates today. And you can also poke around on using the platform. So let me click on start my free trial. So I would like everyone to do the same. Just click on start my free trial, and then it will bring you here. Here's the first thing you should do. On the sidebar, scroll down to where it says, where is it? Free resources, right here. Click on free resources, and it will show you these free resources. So we have a ton of free resources that we have created for change managers and also project managers. For today's session, click on Impact Assessments. And here you will see the 2 free Excel Change Impact Assessment templates that we went over. Click here for the basic template. Click here to download. And then for the comprehensive template, click here to download. And for the online version, you see where it says Tools. You click on the Tools, and you can download these Excel templates now, and then after the video, you can go back and review them. But for now, just click on where it says Tools, and then you want to find Change Impact. There are a wide range of change management tools like change risk assessment, stakeholders. You can ignore all of those for now. Click on Change Impact. When you get here, it will say no changes have been added for this audience. Add a change. You could also click here, add a new change. So in adding your change, you want to name the change. You will notice there are no groups here. There are no job roles here. And so you can pause, exit out of here, and go to audiences. You want to enter your audiences. So here we have our target audience list. Let's enter a few audiences. And here we can just enter human resources. Human resources, add new human resources, okay? And then go to the next one, let's call it sales, and then click on add new sales. You can ignore first name, last name, email, job titles for now, okay? Because we want to do our change impact assessment at a department level, not at the individual level. However, if you want to test around just by entering sample people's names, you can say John Doe. You can do that, okay? And then let me enter one more, legal. Okay, so we have legal here. Unless this John Doe was part of IT, so I enter IT, and John Doe is an IT manager. Let me enter that. Okay, now click on Save. So now you will see that the system is populating your target audience. Now we have a target audience. Let us go back to the Change Impact Assessment tool. So go back, click on Tools. And you can obviously pause this video if I'm going too fast. Okay, you can pause it and track along. We will click on Change Impact again. Click on Add a new change. And if you click on groups, now you see those groups that are entered, they are now populated. The individual John Doe is here. So now I could say demo change. Current state, showing the audience a current state. Rather, let me just say, here is the current state. And then here is the future state. Who is impacted? Let's say human resources, legal. What's the type of change? Let's say it's a technology change. Locations is another one we didn't really discuss, but you can add locations if your change impact is based on different locations, okay? And the reason why no data is showing is to add your locations, you want to go to audiences right here. Let's say everyone is impacted the same, high. So you go ahead and click on high and then click on save. So now we have our first change that has been entered. It's a technology change, current state, future state, human resources, legal have a high level impact. That's how easy it is for you to enter your change impact assessment. What if you have multiple things that are changing? Easy, just keep on clicking on where it says add new impact. You click on that, you do the same thing over again. And if you are entering a change where the different groups are impacted differently, just toggle on this. Something for you to keep in mind. And whenever you want to exit without saving, it will give you a warning. That way you don't lose any data, okay? So that's how easy it is for you to access all three change impact assessment tools. Step one, you want to go to free resources, not free tools, free resources. Under free resources, you want to click on impact assessments, and then you want to download the 2 free Excel organizational change impact assessment templates. For the online version, you want to make sure you enter your target audience and then click on the tools. Another option is up here. You see this tab right here where it says change impact. You click on that and it brings you to the same change impact assessment tool. Most of you watching this video have other team members. So I recommend you invite your team members to also try out this tool, and then you all can discuss, is this something that your organization can benefit from? How do you add team members? Very easy. On the sidebar, scroll down to where it says user management. You click on that. Currently it says one user, which is going to be you. You see where it says create user, click on that, add your team members. So let's say Jane Doe, and Jane at abcorg.com. You can say, I want Jane Doe to be a member, be an admin, be an account owner. You can just for now select member, or actually, you know what? Select admin for all of the people you are adding. That way they will have full access. Okay, so click on admin, and then you can enter a username for Jane Doe, or you do have to enter a username. So we can say Jane 2025. And then Jane Doe's job title, you can leave that blank, because if you notice, it is not mandatory. But if you want to enter a job title, you're more than welcome to. Okay, you could just say change manager, and then you click on create user, And Jane Doe will receive an invitation that she has been invited to the all-in-one OCM Solution software. It helps though if you also give Jane Doe a heads up that, hey, Jane, I just added you to this software. You should have received an email. Let me know if you have any. The free impact assessment templates that you now have access to will save you hours each time you do a change impact assessment. Don't forget to like this video to let me know it has been helpful to you. And don't hesitate to subscribe to our channel for future videos like this one, including watching the next video. See you there.